Hey guys, it's Tori with Fox and Hazel, and I'm really excited to be doing a special video today for Earth Day. Sorry. I'm doing one where ReSketch, which is a company that makes journals and notepads from reclaimed paper, and we're paired up with StencilGirl. And so I'm just working in this really cool little tiny reclaimed paper journal that they sent me. And all the pages are totally different in it. There's everything from like old envelopes to lined paper to copy paper and like everything in between. There's all different colors. It's really cool. And so to celebrate Earth Day, since they're reclaimed, I tried to go through my stash and I really want to try using some stuff I already have on hand. Art journaling, I think in its nature, tends to be fairly somewhat eco-friendly. I'm sure someone will disagree with me, but in the fact that most art journals I know love to use to repurpose stuff in their art journals. I'm always like holding on to all kinds of random bits and pieces. All of my tiny art journals are made from like old grocery bags or like old cardstock or craft paper, like whatever. I don't buy a ton of paper products actually for any of my art journaling. I mean, I wish I could say the same about paint, but I don't really use that much paper. Really, I try to reuse what I can, and we're like diehard recyclers in our house. So I'm all about saving the paper and saving the trees. And so, yeah, I'm just basically going to collage these scrap papers I have down. One is a magazine page from a paper quarterly I get, and this is a just like watercolor paper that I had tested out some dye-based pigments on, and I'm like super into that dark teal that's going on there. And so yeah, and also that stencil that's on the background there, you can see I already stenciled the pattern on there. That one is Striped Hexagons by Terry Stegmiller. I hope I said that right. And so I had just quickly stenciled that on just to add some visual interest in the background there. And so by the time I'm posting this video, guys, it's Earth Day, so it's the 22nd. I wish I could tell you that it was spring where I am, but like I want to just go hide in my bed because it's been snowy for weeks. Like if you follow me on Instagram, you'll know that a few weeks ago I was like bemoaning all the snow. Hopefully by the time I post this video, the snow is mostly gone, but like if it isn't, I won't be surprised because we're having the longest winter of my ever-loving life. So I just to try and cure my excessively long winter blues, I'm trying to do like a really fun spring page, almost summery, because I just want it to be freaking warm. Sorry, I digress. The weather is just, I'm in Canada and this has been the longest winter. I think we looked it up and it's like the snowiest, longest winter in like literally 70 years. It's been a long one, people. So here I have some flowers. This is really cool. This is actually an IKEA napkin, but so when you buy like napkins, they're always ply, right? So there's like 2-3 ply or whatever. This is not the first layer that you would take off a printed napkin, but the second layer in between the back that would be all white and the first layer that's printed with the design. This is the in-between one. So I actually started keeping these because when you collage them, like you can see, they make like a really cool ghosty effect. And I feel like it actually is a better use of using up the paper napkins, because instead of just using the first part, like if you pull it apart because you like an image on the paper napkin, instead of just using that first layer, you can totally use the second one that's got this ghosty image on it. And so I'm just using some matte medium to adhere it. And as you can see, it's like tissue paper. It just goes totally translucent and it leaves behind this really cool, almost like faded stamped texture on there, which I really like. And there's flowers, which, makes me hopeful that maybe someday I'll see real flowers again. So anyways, and I'm just using my heat gun to dry it because I hate waiting for everything. And I'm just trimming my pages. And what do I do next? I'm trying to remember. I think I'm like, this is me trying to make decisions along the way. I don't generally plan stuff out too far ahead. Okay, so this is another stencil I'm using, and this one's Falling Feathers by Lizzie Main. And so even though they're feathers, when I picked it up, I instantly thought of palm leaves, like big green palm leaves. So I'm rolling with it and I'm getting some paint out. I'm going to show it to you guys. It's phthalo yellow green acrylic. It's really like, it's almost like a chartreuse, or is a chartreuse. It's very like lime green. It's like my favorite shade of green. And so I'm just using a cheap cosmetic sponge to daub my paint on there. I've sped it up for you people because watching me stencil is not very interesting. And so I'm mixing other colors. This is light blue permanent paint that I'm adding to it just to create a different shade. This is kind of a bit more, I apologize. That was my phone. If you heard that, I thought I had it on silent. But anyways, I'm just going across. So I'm trying to get like a sort of foresty effect, if you will, where it's like, I don't know, like, you know, when you see like tropical pictures and they have like a canopy of leaves, that's kind of what I was trying to go for, because I really want it to be, sorry, my phone, I apologize. My phone is digging over here. So yeah, so I'm trying to make this palm tree kind of canopy effect. And so even though, like I said, these are feathers, I'm just going back and forth and layering a few of them to try and get that palm leaf effect. And I think I'm going to let it dry. Maybe I hit it with a heat gun. I don't know. What shall I do? I think so if you follow me on here, you know what my general art journaling technique is, that I never generally have a plan. So if you're not new, that's me humming and hawing. You're seeing it like real time as I'm figuring out what I want to do. I'm recording it. So I decided to go in with this, it's this Liquitex. This is their limited edition, like Liquitex muted collection. This is the muted gray. It's not very, like, it's gray, but it's very purpley, which I like, but it's not like a true neutral gray, FYI. And you saw me rolling it there. That's actually a really good technique, that if you have like an ink or a sprayer, like a mister that's like that needs to be mixed if it's settled. I learned from another company to not shake them, just because it can actually clog the nozzles on your misters and sprayers if you shake them. And so the best way to mix them or emulsify them again is to tip them upside down and roll them between your hands. And so I've actually found it works really good, and I haven't had an issue with my nozzles on all my like acrylic misters even clogging up. I had some that I had to like throw away because they were no good and I couldn't get replacement ones, and I was so devastated. But this is a good tip. So, and I do it with my bottled inks too, just because I hate when you shake them that they get frothy. This is a good way to avoid the frothiness, if you will. So now I'm going back in with another one of my favorite inks. This is quinacridone magenta, and I'm just gonna mix it with a tiny bit, like actually a lot of water and some matte medium, because I don't want it to be like, it's not very like opaque, but I wanted it to be watery, like watercolor looking. And so I'm just making some marks. Don't know what I'm doing, just throwing it on there. But I really like the mix of like that, like lime green with the magenta. I like really high contrast colors. So for me, like this, all my pages always end up being really loud because I like high contrast and I like loud colors. So just using my heat gun again here to cool it, or not cool it. What am I talking about? To dry it. And what am I going to do next, guys? Oh, this is, I'm pulling in. This is Hold Me in acrylics, heavy body acrylics. I believe this one is Shell Pink. I think it's really similar to it's really similar to Portrait Pink, but it's just like a touch warmer is the best way I can describe it. It's still very much like that light pink, but it leans a bit more towards coral than it does to like a cool pink. I like it. I use it like on everything because I generally either use like magenta, hot pink, or this pastel-y kind of pink. Everything else can go to hell. No, that's not true. So anyways, I'm just filling in different spots here. I think those are those, I'm trying to define the edges of these palm leaves, basically, to try and make them more palm leaf and less feathery looking, if that makes sense. And I like the contrast of that pink against the leaves because I feel like I see it all the time. It's like very, very millennial to have the millennial pink with palm leaves on it. I actually think I have a post on my blog right now where you could download prints that are done in this color scheme now that I'm saying this. But yeah, which I like. And I'm here for the millennial pink. I'm a millennial and I probably why I like this shade of pink so much. So I'm just going over with a fountain pen. So I actually was using the Jane Davenport fountain pen, and then I could not it's been sitting for a little while, and I could not for the life of me get it to work again. So this is just like some cheap knockoff one I got off AliExpress. I'll link to it below. It was like less than $10, or it was $10, and it worked pretty good, except it came with navy blue ink, which isn't my favorite, but c'est la vie. I'll use it anyways, and it was the one that worked. So if anyone else has used those Jane Davenport fountain pens, like, hit me up, because I have had nothing but problems with it since I bought it. I feel like I can never get it to go. Like, I can never get the ink to work, and I try all the little tips and techniques that when you Google it that they give you for fountain pens, but I don't know, maybe I just got a bad one, or maybe they're just like not great. I don't know. If you have one, or if you're a fountain pen user, like, give me the inside scoop, because I really, like, I don't want to use fountain pens all the time, but I do quite like them for art journaling. And I know lots of other people do too. I like using them for this, for like doodling and drawing and sketching. And even this one I think because I was drawing on top of like acrylic and stuff, I had to keep kind of like dipping my nib in water to get the ink to flow. And this one had been sitting for a little while too without being used. I had them both stored horizontally. And yeah, anyways, I'm going on forever about fountain pens, but if you know anything about them, give me all your information, because I need it. So yeah, I've just gone and outlined and kind of illustrated these palm leaves. So they look like more like palm leaves and not like a feather. Maybe they still look like green feathers to you. They look like palm leaves to me now. And what do I do next? I think I finally decided to write something. Since it was Earth Day, I thought I wanted to write a little bit about, Mother Earth. And so I just scribbled that on there with my fountain pen. And then what? Oh, and this is another stencil. So I was trying to remember what I did. So the next stencil I'm using here is the Speckles and Spots by Carolyn Dubé. And I'm going to use the big circles. And another tip there you saw me do is, so I use cosmetic sponges for stenciling, because I don't want to waste my money on like really specific, marked up craft product stuff, which I'm like, I usually buy that stuff, but I feel like this is one of those areas I won't. But what I do is to try and get the most use out of them is that I've used one, and then like acrylic paint dries hard on it and you can't use it again, is I just cut the end off with a pair of scissors, and then it's like a brand new switch, and I'll literally use it down till it's like a nub. And then it's like almost painful to stencil with, but I feel like I can get probably, I'd probably say like at least 4 uses, sometimes 5 if I'm feeling real thrifty, out of one cosmetic sponge. So it's worth it if you're trying. Like, I get a huge bag of them at the dollar store for like $1 or $2 or something. So worth it. And so yeah, I'm just using some white gesso to stencil some shapes, some circles, or some spots and speckles around my page here. And I think what am I going to do now? Or I hit it with my heat gun. I'm sorry, guys. I'm like obsessed with this thing. I think ever since I got one now, I just want to use it all the time. Do you guys have heat guns? Do you use them? I had somebody in another group ask me, or like pose a question to the group saying, do you use a heat gun, or do you have more than one journal at a time when you're working on them? And it was really funny because I was like, both. And a bunch of people said the same thing. They were like, I use a heat gun, but I also have like 4 journals open at all times. And the original poster was like, what? And we're like, yeah, is that a problem? Because I am totally someone who has like at least 4 or 5 journals open at all times while I'm working on them. Because I work on so many tiny ones. Like, I don't really work in a big format, so I can have multiples open on my desk. So I'd like to know in the comments, are you a heat gun user, or are you the person who uses multiple journals? Do you do one at a time? Do you have lots on the go? I feel like most art journals you talk to have at least 3 art journals on the go at all times. Like, I have yet to meet someone who only ever has one. If you're that person, tell me in the comments. I'd love to meet you and chat with you more. So here I'm using, this is a Lycra graphite crayon. It's a 9B, so it's quite heavy or soft. I guess is a better way to say it. It's a very soft graphite, and it's water soluble. So you can see there I just defined those palm leaves a bit more and brought some black darkness into the page because I like that. And I'm just using a woodless pencil. I don't even know what this is. What does it say? 6B? Something like that. Same thing, a very soft lead. And I'm just scribbling and just adding some more details to my circles. And then these are China markers, which you can get on Amazon for dirt cheap. I'll have all my supplies linked below, like I always do. And I'm just going around making marks on my page. I feel like this is when my pages finally come together, is when I get to go through and do like the little tiny details and all the little spots. I feel like until I get a chance to do this, it really feels like unfinished. So that was a white China marker, and this is a black one, and you can get a 2-pack that comes with both, as you can tell. And they're dirt cheap. I think you get them both for like less than $5. And yeah, I think this is the last thing I do, is I just do some marks around the page. So yeah, that's the end of that, I guess. Maybe I'm prematurely ending it. I guess I don't know what else to tell you guys. I feel like black like really anchors pages. Like black is a must in every last page I make too. So yeah, this is my fun little collab between StencilGirl and ReSketch. I totally recommend looking at their reclaimed journals. They're also really affordable. They're not like insanely priced. They come in like a million different sizes, and yeah, check them out. So thanks so much for watching, you guys. And if you want to make sure you get all my videos, make sure you hit subscribe and catch me over on Instagram with Fox and Hazel. See you next time, guys. Bye.